Jumbo, fellow adventurers, Mike Dooley here with another spiritual tune-up, and I thought I would go somewhere with a little more levity than the past couple of days. And what came to mind based on many more questions I keep receiving from you. Thanks for the questions, the engagement, sharing, stars. I really appreciate it. But many questions come in pertaining to death. And as you may well know, about a month or 2 months ago, I did 5 tune-ups in a row on the afterlife, reincarnation, all of that kind of stuff. So check it out. Go to the index either in Instagram or Facebook, and you'll see there's over 100 spiritual tune-ups. But the questions continue to come in, and they're always a little bit different. So I thought I would draw from one of the favorite books I've written, the top 10 things dead people want to tell you. So here we go. Is there a hell? If a person dies in their sleep, do they know they're dead? How do I know dead loved ones are okay? Why do good things happen to bad people, if in fact that's the case? I once wrote a note from the universe that by the end of many hours figuring out what to say, there was a little line in there, and that's what dead people want to tell you. And I remember thinking, that would be a really cool book one day. The top 10 things dead people want to tell you. So it became my first Hay House book, and maybe one of my best-selling books of all time, the top 10 things dead people want to tell you. And each of the points is a chapter in the book. So I'm just going to tell you each of the points, maybe give a minute or so on average to each of the points. And if you want more, then you can get the book. It's probably $9 at Amazon or something like that. So the number one thing out of the top 10 things dead people want to tell you is they're not dead. And that was really important in order for me to be able to write a book about these things because, if they weren't there, they wouldn't be talking. This is perhaps one of the number one fears that human beings have during their lifetimes, and that is that they are going to die, period. Whether it's soon or later, I get that question a lot right now. How can you comfort me? How do you know what you know? By observing the obvious, we can see that we are immersed in a world of intelligence and of love that numbs the brain. And if you keep thinking along those thoughts, you realize we are of God, we are eternal, that time is an illusion, just like Einstein said. And suddenly you realize that, of course, the physical body is not the center of where we are. It is the conduit, the channel of our spiritual energies, which never expire. And this is good news if you've lost somebody to death. It's great news if you used to fear dying, thinking that it's lights out forever and ever. We are eternal gladiators of love and joy here for the adventure of it, to love and be loved. And when we pass, the lights come back on, we see clearly, we laugh until we cry, and then we want to come back and play again. It's so real, it's so captivating. It's better than a movie. You get to live it. And then in the blink of an eye, you're back in the palm of God's hand and all is well. So, number one, no one ever dies. One door closes, another one opens. If you die in your sleep, you wake up on the other side and you're like, oh, I was ready, which leads me to a few more of the points here. Number two, there's no such thing as a devil or hell. Both are man-made concepts in a primitive era on planet Earth where people wanted to corral and lead, gain power over other people. And the best way to do that is to put the fear of God in them. If you don't behave and listen to me because I'm really close to God, you're going to go to hell forever. They would have zero traction against the people they want to lead if they said, hey, everybody comes back as many times as they want. Hey, it's all about love and kindness and giving and sharing. It's all about seeing each other as brothers and sisters. Terrible if you want to be in power. Okay, so if you say there's a devil and there's a hell, now there's a lot of metaphors, and I've talked about these in the different tune-ups I've done. We eat of the forbidden fruit every day, not in a sinful, judgmental kind of way. That entire story was the first spiritual tune-up back in March, and it signifies us, divine spiritual beings, forgetting that we're divine spiritual beings, streaming matter in front of us to such a degree that we bite into the holographic image of the apple we created, and it tastes delicious, and the tipping point was reached. We fell head over heels from grace, not really from grace, we're still in the heart of God, and we started reacting to the world around us instead of realizing we're creating it. Nothing could be more hellish than not realizing you are the source of everything that happens in your life, and what you don't like, you can create anew, better, faster, shinier, cooler, happier, friendlier, you name it. Want money? It's very spiritual. Want love? It's very spiritual. You want anything? You can have it. You're God. Okay, that's what we forgot, and not knowing the truth is hell. And boy, do we put ourselves through the ringer. Ain't no devil, ain't no hell. That's what the dead want you to know. So chill out and enjoy your rocking gift of life. Number 3, we were ready. What could be more painful than thinking we only live once, and that when somebody's life ends, there's an entire stream of infinite possibilities that's gone forever? Wrong. When one door closes, another door opens. If you're thinking of moving to Florida or California, and you decide California, I mean, if you focused on the fact that you're not going to Florida, it would be the end of the world. What's the reason for living? No experiences in Florida where you could have been so happy. Yeah, but there's going to be experiences in California. Okay, and so to think that when somebody dies, there's no more growth. There's no more smiles, no more laughters. Talk about hell. That's not true. They're laughing their heads off on the other side with happy tears in the palm of God's hand, surrounded by love and friends and connections from other existences, other realities, friends from Atlantis and from Mars and from other places, as well as hanging around you. And they're just saying, please, I was ready. No one dies before their time, no matter how strange, freaky, bizarre the circumstances of their death, no matter their age, 1 minute old, 100 years old, 22 years old, car accident. The best way to understand life, and I've shared this with you many times before in these tune-ups and in my books, is the experiences and circumstances we have are all assembled behind the curtains of time and space invisibly, just like the production of a film is done on the back lot, then there's cinematography, and they film the ending of the movie before the beginning of the movie, and then when somebody watches it from the comfort of their recliner, movie chair, theater, popcorn in their mouth, it seems so logical, and how could they have thought of that so fast, and who would have imagined, and the hero saved the day, and la 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 la. But it was all carefully prepared outside of the constraints of time, outside of the constraints of physical logistics, and it was packaged together so that from the comfort of you believing in the lie of a linear timeline, you can show up and be surprised, or you could show up and have some weird serendipity coincidence happen, but it's not a coincidence. It was orchestrated behind the curtains of time and space, and this is true of every death, every death, no matter how seemingly accidental. There was meaning, there was purpose, there was order. Every death. Never an exception. And they want you to know that. Because if you didn't know that, you would just think it was all was lost. And it was the biggest travesty in the entire world. And what could have been will never be. It's like, oh, don't do that to yourself. It's okay. It's understandable that you're in grief if you lose somebody. I mean, that's just the way it is when we're wired to the illusions as we are. It just seems all bad, and we cry for ourselves, hopefully, not so much for them. They're in a better place. It's just not really better. It's just that there they know They feel all the love that here we deny ourselves. Similarly, number 4, you're not ready. Number 3 was they were ready, evidenced by their exit. Number 4, you're not ready, evidenced by your presence here. If you're breathing, as Richard Bach said in the book Illusions, that's a pretty good sign that your work on earth, your adventure on earth, is still unfolding. Doesn't matter if you're bored, doesn't matter if you're angry, doesn't matter anything. If you're alive, it's not your time. If you have cancer, it is not your time. If you have anything going on in your life, it is not your time to die, because you're here. You're learning, you're growing, you're being put through things you wouldn't have gone through otherwise. And as each moment and day and week of your life unfolds with cancer or whatever the circumstances are, you're becoming more and objectives are being met. Surrender, enjoy every moment, decide what you would like to happen next, and prepare to be astounded. Number 5, we're sorry for any pain we caused. This is the 5th top thing that dead people want to tell you, that they can't readily tell you. Not because there's judgment, not because they're punished. There's certainly no such thing as hell or the devil, but there is such a thing as consequences. And can you imagine your life review on the other side, and you realize your bad day and your bad mood and your foul temper totally changed the trajectory of someone else's life? You'd be like, look, I was having a bad day and I didn't mean to take it out on you, and now I can see the damage done. I can see from here things I couldn't see from there. And everyone going through that kind of a review will feel the emotional repercussions of every decision and action of their life, whether it was violent, whether it was obscene, whether it was just a bad mood. They're going to feel what you felt, and they are going to be so sorry, because as I said yesterday, everyone is doing their best. As my mom would say, sometimes a very poor best. But they see it and they're sorry, okay? And it wasn't that you were a victim, and it wasn't that stuff could randomly happen to you for other reasons. You chose to be in the vicinity where those kind of things could happen, and there was opportunity for you to learn as well. And no one is ever made irrevocably less for what has ever happened in the past or present of their life. We all get other chances to rise above and see the light and live in joy. Number 6, your dreams really can come true. They're on the other side and they're like, oh my God, it wasn't just a saying, this law of attraction. Our thoughts become things. They literally do. So whatever you want, think those thoughts. Number 7, heaven is going to blow your mind. Blow your mind. Bathed in love, completely understood, able to go anywhere that you can imagine, in the past, the present, the future, other realms, other planets, joy everywhere, clarity everywhere. Now, I talk about suicide from the perspective of the person contemplating it, the person who did it, and the survivors in this book. And I've talked about suicide in other spiritual tune-ups. I don't like the idea that by us understanding how much better it seems on the other side, that somebody might be like, well, it sucks here because I'm going to make things happen faster by going over there. You came from over there. And from over there, at the zenith of your brilliance, you said, time, space, now, me. You knew what you were doing. There's order and there's a reason for your madness. It's playing out perfectly. Objectives are being met. Do your best. Keep going on. In the blink of an eye, your life will be, this incarnation will be over anyway. So what will you find on the other side? Well, it'll be a whole lot cooler when you stick it out here. Otherwise, you go to the other side and you're like, crap, why did I do that? I had all this stuff going for me and everything was about to get better. If I had only kept the faith, can I go back? No, not in the same way that you were there. Got to start all over again. Got to, not an option. So So we all have so much to look forward to on the other side. Colors we can't imagine, sounds we can't imagine, music we can't imagine, love we can't imagine, but it's all here too, and that's part of the hook of time and space. Open your eyes, go within, be enlightened, experience heaven on earth. That's one of the many possibilities that awaits all of us here. And whatever you accomplish here, it's going to even be better on the other side. Your experience on the other side will be better for what you accomplish here, is what I mean. So for every extra day, every extra year, every extra decade that you're doing your best here, it'll be even more amazing on the other side. And you'll be so grateful. Number 8, life is more than fair. Now that does not jive with what our physical senses tell us. Boy, this is a long one, huh? Life is more than fair. We're inclined to succeed. Bad things do not happen to good people. And the clarity here that you'll get, and it's deeply entrenched in this book, is that nothing's bad when you have the lens of eternity and you realize everything makes you more. So hang in there. There is fairness. I know that doesn't seem to jive with what your physical senses tell you, but one day it will. Number 9, your old pets, dogs, cats, fur babies, feather babies, are as crazy as ever, and they're going to greet you with more wagging tails and sloppy kisses and chirps and the like than you can imagine. So be comforted. And number 10, love is the way, truth is the path. Love is the way, truth is the path. Thanks for indulging me for such a long one. These all came from my book, The Top 10 Things Dead People Want to Tell You. The link is below on Facebook, and perhaps we'll switch it on the bio in Instagram so you can get it there, and or just go to Google it, The Top 10 Things Dead People Want to Tell You. Tally ho, amigos. Muchas gracias. I'll let you go right away.